Hey, did you fucking know? Do you know about this? You knew about this and you're just gonna stand around and do not shit about it. Are you fucking kidding me? Honest to God, I couldn't be more disappointed in you. I'm just kidding, baby, I love you. Anyway, I bought a green screen to do these types of videos with, but it's not gonna be here for another week. So until then, I made this little guy. I will now ask the audience to please make an attempt to contain your excitement. So to finally jump into the video, we are going to be talking about the funniest war crime, which is a big deal because there have been quite a few knee slappers in the past. Let me tell you. Speaking of war crimes, let's go ahead and jump in and start talking about the Mongolians. In this talk, we're going to cover whether or not the Mongolians played a huge part in spreading the Black Plague. Short answer, yes. Don't click off. I'm still, I got jokes and stories. Now, the Mongolians are mostly known for, and they're a lot less known for bioterrorism, but everybody has to break out of their comfort zone every once in a while. Now, the Mongolians played a huge role in interconnecting like 75% of the planet, whether the planet liked it or not, which was big news for localized, highly motivated diseases in the area. Oh shit, hey, look, there's one now. This is the Black Plague. And despite popular belief, the Black Plague had actually been around for a while, long before it started up white people in this area. See, before this point, the Black Plague had been happening like here and, here. Long before the Mongolians ever decided that they owned Asia, but it could never get out of small little isolated towns and villages until the Mongolians built the wildest ass infrastructure system known to man at that point, and still pretty much to this day. This infrastructure helped the plague spread through ways of like trade, religion, house parties, kissing. See, the Mongolians didn't know that wearing a simple mask could drastically lower the chance of spreading the plague, because they didn't have like world-class doctors or scientists or any of that shit informing them of these things like via some sort of interconnected immediate internet system. Thank God we have access to such things nowadays, or else we'd be fucked. So, while the East was getting DDT'd by the Black Plague, the West was sitting pretty okay because there weren't any wars that were going on between the two. And then a war broke out between the two. An honest-to-God bar fight broke out in the city of Kaffa between some Italian merchants and some Mongolians. And I know you'll never see this coming. I know, it fucking blew me away. During the scuffle, one of the Italians killed a Mongolian, and in rebuttal, the Mongolians understandably lost their goddamn shit. The Mongolians started to lay siege to Kaffa, and if you don't know anything about the Mongolians, they were amazingly efficient at sieging. They've sieged a lot. They like hundreds of small towns and villages, but unfortunately for them, Kaffa had the one thing that all Mongolians feared. Walls. Like big ones. Don't make fun of them, they were big. Kaffa had put a ton of skill points into defense, seeing how it's mostly sea-bound and surrounded by walls. The Mongolians ended up trying to get into the city of Kaffa for 2 years to no significant avail, which is absolutely fucking bananas, because I give up if I can't get a USB to plug in the right way by the second try. I literally have to take a mental health break or I'm going to shit and cry. But at the end of the second year of sieging, the Mongolians started to get reinforcements from the east, like this area. You can see how this might end badly. There are documents written by citizens of Kaffa about how the Mongolians were just out there dropping dead outside the walls of their city. They said the Mongolians continued to siege the city, but they looked like battered corpses with sunken eyes and covered in sores and shit. Which on one hand is awesome, because this could possibly be the closest thing that humans have ever experienced to a real zombie apocalypse, but on the other hand, Jesus fucking Christ. Could you imagine an army of people trying to kill you for 2 years and then their skins just starts falling off, but they're still trying to kill you? Do you understand the motivation there? They're like, fuck my skin as long as you're in the ground, old man. The mostly unsuccessful sieging of Kaffa went on for a little while longer until the Mongolians decided to give up due to everyone around them suffering from spontaneous death. See, they didn't know what the Black Plague was, they just knew people were fucking dying. But, I mean, they've made this big of a fuss about it. They obviously couldn't leave peacefully. I mean, you can't just siege something for 2 years and then just give up without a little fuss. So, before the Mongolians packed up and left, they decided to pile up a bunch of their buddies' plague-infested corpses, put them into big heavy trebuchets, and fire the bodies over the walls of Kaffa directly into the city. Oh my god. Just for a second, I want you to imagine being a citizen of Kaffa. There's an army trying to kill you every day for 2 years, like passionately. It's like their favorite thing to do is fuck you up. Then the soldiers of that army start to look like zombies, but that doesn't even slow them down trying to kill you. And when you think it's all over, they've slowed down, it looks like they're packing up to leave. Massive piles of mangled corpses come hurling down out of the sky and raining in your city. There'd be a "it's raining men" joke in here somewhere if this wasn't one of the most hellish things I've ever heard in my entire life. My personal favorite part about all this is that this happened in 1345. Germ theory was discovered in 1861, so the Mongolians didn't know that this would get their enemies sick. The Mongolians did it out of spite, passionate spite, like that driving slower because someone's riding your ass in the slow lane kind of spite. So, understandably, the citizens of Kaffa were finally like, "F this," and decided to head west and seek refuge in neighboring countries. The only problem with that is that the citizens of Kaffa had been getting literally pelted with corpses that were carrying the Black Plague. You can see how this might end badly. The Kaffanites ended up getting the Black Plague from the, albeit hilarious, Mongolian hate crime, and they, in turn, ended up spreading it to the Western world when they decided to leave their city, when bodies started falling from the sky, thus successfully wiping out 25 million people in Europe because the Mongolians were pouting and they had a really good sense of humor. Imagine you were playing an online game and winning handedly, and then somebody starts being toxic on the losing team, and then 25 million Europeans die directly as a result. I wanted to share this story because the Mongolians have become my favorite people to learn about. And I didn't hear a whole lot about them in school because American history books come from here and here almost exclusively. And I know this video could come off as some kind of Mongolian hit piece, but just know that they are more or less evil than every single other civilization that's ever been on the planet. They did a lot of good during their time, but I just could not pass up an opportunity to tell the story of the most hateful shit I have ever heard of. Anyways, this has been Mouse. I don't have an outro.